Welcome back everyone to Living Survival. My name is Ben and today we're going to take a look at an all new headlamp from Olight. It's their HS2. So let me model this bad boy for you. As you can see, very low profile, lightweight on the head. You've got the adjustment all the way up or all the way down, which means you can wear it either way. You can flip it around and you can have your button on the left side or you can have your button on the right side. So that's pretty cool. Of course, you do have the operation button on the side. Takes some getting used to if you're used to either the top click or the side click. And then you have the battery pack in the back, but all in all very comfortable, especially for having that battery pack in the back. I don't feel it on my head, and you really don't feel much up front either with that being so lightweight and small. I've tested out a ton of different headlamps and I really don't like to go any larger than my H1R, which is, you know, just a little bit bigger. They do make the larger headlamps that take an 18650. I guess if you need that 1000 lumens plus, those would be worth looking into. But, you know, again, my favorite headlamps are the H1R, the TH20 from Through Night. This one's a decent one. I got some Petzls and Black Diamonds that are okay. Again, purpose built with the red light for hunting, for example. For the most part, when selecting a good headlamp, it has to be comfortable. You have to have the runtime and the brightness that you're looking for, and then of course the battery type that you're looking for as well. This takes some of the guesswork out of that, having the rechargeable battery pack and also being able to unplug it right here and plug it in to just any old USB battery pack makes it pretty cool. It would work great as maybe a camera light. You could pop this off the headband, mount it somehow. It's definitely small enough to do so. So, you know, lots of cool features, but really comfortable on the head. So this is the Olight HS2, a very small headlamp, capable of being really small on the front because it does have the battery pack in the back. Typically, I'm not a huge fan of the battery pack in the back, but it is very comfortable on your head when you're wearing it. The battery pack is pretty cool. You have a charge indicator there, so just like a USB battery bank, it's going to let you know your level of charge. You got your USB input here, micro USB, so you can charge this back up 6,000 milliamps, I believe. Then you have your connector with your on and off mode button, and then on up to the light itself. Typical cool factor with Olight, right down into their headlamps with that cool looking bezel there. You do have tier optics in there, XPG2 LEDs. You do have two of them there, so you can run this in a few different modes. You can run it in multi-mode with both lights. You can run it in a floody mode, or you can run it in more of a spot mode. We'll take a better look at that. So nice small form factor. You can tilt this up and down accordingly, and you can also flip it either side so that you could wear the power button, the mode button on the left side of your head or the right side. Couple different brightness levels you get when you have the two LEDs on. You can get up to 400 lumens. There is just a high and low in either mode, so it doesn't have infinite brightness where you can sort of dial in the brightness. You either have to have it on one or the other. So in multi-mode, you can have it on the 400 lumens or you can have it on the 100 lumens. Then you can switch over to the more floody LED. You can have that on 200 lumens or the lowest 50 lumens, and then on to the more spot LED. That one you can have as well on 200 lumens or 50 lumens. So sort of frustrating there that you can't dial down the lumens at all. 50 is the lowest lumen level, making it something that I probably would not use at all backpacking or hiking, because I like to have those really low modes for when I'm just sitting in the tent, in the hammock, you know, something that I can run a really long time. And even though this does have a large battery pack on it, giving it a decent runtime, it's really purpose built for someone like a runner, someone who rides bikes, maybe you know, bike police would like this light. No red light on it either, and the only special mode that it has is SOS. So again, purpose built more for running than anything else. Another frustrating fact about it is that it is only IPX4 water resistant, not IPX8 like the H1R from Olight, which is my favorite headlamp. It weighs 4.06 ounces, so even though it is pretty small, when you add in that battery pack, the cables, it does have a little bit of weight to it, again at 4.06 ounces. Even though this light does not dim down through the brightness settings, it does dim when you turn it on. It dims on and dims off. I did notice some pulse width modulation in the lower light levels, something that my eye couldn't pick up, but the camera did pick it up. Again, something I do not notice with the H1R. H1R. Pretty simple operation. You simply just press the button one time to turn it on. It's going to come on to the multi-mode, so both LEDs there. Again, you get a max of 400 lumens and down to 100 lumens. So to switch between the two brightness levels, you simply just to press the button again, and that will switch to the different brightness level. So down to 100 lumens, press it again, back up to 400 lumens. You double tap to cycle through, so we can go over to the more floody LED. So we have the 200 lumens there. We hit the button and it'll drop down to the 50 lumens. Then again, we can switch over to the more spot LED. Again, with that one, you get the 200 lumens or the 50 lumens. In that case, it started off on the low. It is going to start off on whichever mode that you left it in. So if you leave all the modes on low, it will start off in low, which is kind of cool. Then to turn it off, you just simply hold the button down. And you can see it dims off, as I just was mentioning a moment ago. So it dims off, dims on. That is to protect your eyes, so they say, although I don't notice a big difference between the light just coming on or dimming on or increasing brightness to full power. It also has a special mode that you can triple click and it'll put it into SOS mode. So that's pretty cool. For a light like this, I would have liked to see maybe a flashing light, you know, something you could wear on a helmet when riding a bike or even when running. You know, it might be nice to have that flashing light on there instead of the SOS. It seems like they could have just easily added another feature there to give you that flashing light. So, you know, all in all, fairly easy to use. It does take some getting used to, but some definite frustrations with the modes. Let me go over the run times real quick because I don't believe I covered that in the night shots. 400 lumens the max, 2 hours and 12 minutes, which is pretty decent. Again, it does have that large battery pack allowing it to do so. 200 lumens at 4 hours and 30 minutes, 100 lumens at 9 hours, and then 50 lumens, which is its lowest setting, at 18 hours. So that's not too bad. But let's compare that against my favorite Olight, the H1R. So let's set this one aside. Let's take a look at my favorite headlamp from Olight, the H1R. Fantastic headlamp. You can pop this right out of the case here, and then it becomes just a little EDC flashlight. It even comes with a pocket clip, although I exclusively use it as a headlamp. It works great. You know, I don't like the larger size headlamps. I don't find I need that much light, so to jump up to an 18650 headlamp is really not something I would do, and unless, again, you have a specific purpose for needing that much light. You know, I really think it's overkill. I want to keep my weight down, and definitely the weight is pretty decent with this one being 1.82 ounces versus the 4+ ounces of the HS2. So lighter. That's definitely something I like about this. I like the modes, the fact that you can dial into 5 different brightness levels. I think it gives you more capability than the HS2, and again, you can go down into a low 15 lumens or even down to a 2 lumen mode, which is something that I use a lot when camping, you know, in the tent or in the hammock. I don't need that high brightness, and especially when I want my battery to last, I like to put it on that very low mode. Runtime on the low mode here at 2 lumens is 6 days. So and then up to 15 lumens is 20 hours. So at the 20-hour mark, you're going to get 15 lumens on this guy or 50 lumens on that. I wish they would have made that into a 15 lumen, just to give me that little lower brightness level. On up here, this one jumps all the way up to 600 lumens for an hour and 20, 400 lumens here for 2 hours. So you lose an hour with this one. There's not a whole lot of difference in brightness between 400 and 600 lumens. So being a smaller battery, you do, of course, lose a little bit of runtime here. But again, with those lower light levels, I don't see that as a problem. The H1R is IPX8 waterproof. Again, you're only IPX4 over here. So, you know, water resistant, waterproof. It is also USB rechargeable using their magnetic charging system, so I really like that. And you can swap out the batteries, so I can take a couple extra batteries and swap them out if need be. This one you can't swap out. You'd have to charge the battery pack. Price-wise, these are pretty identical, so, you know, for my applications, I'm definitely going with the H1R. Jumping back to the HS2 here, it does come with a carrying case that they've started to introduce with some of their headlamps. I believe the H1R came with one as well. So a little carrying case for your headlamp, your charging cable. I believe there's some extra clips in there for the headband. So that's pretty cool. One other cool thing that I wanted to note about this light is that you can pop it off the strap here. So we can go ahead and, you know, it allows you to take the strap off the back here, just like that. Then we can actually pop, I believe we can pop this cable right out of the clip, and then you can disconnect it right here. So what's cool about that is you can actually plug this, plug a USB battery bank right into this, and it's a light on its own. So you could make this into a camera light. You could mount this on some sort of you know, ATV or vehicle or something like that, and it would give you a lot of light. So it's a really small package that gives you a lot of light. That's definitely something that's a plus with this light. Now, what I also wanted to know was, could I use this as a battery bank to charge a different device? And the way that they've made this connector here with it sort of male and female, and it's really recessed there, this will not plug into most other devices. So unless you got an extender cable that would somehow fit in there and then, you know, extend that out, I'm sure you could use the battery power in here to charge a different device. You would just have to get that adapter. But it is cool on this end that you can plug it into any other battery bank and give yourself a ton of light. So you could plug this into like a 20,000 you know, milliamp hour battery pack, and it would give you a ton of light in a fairly small package, whether you're mounting it on a tripod or, like I said, on some sort of a vehicle or any other application that you could think of where you need light. So the thing that I find the coolest about this headlamp is that you can disconnect just this front part here from the headlamp, and then it just becomes a portable, super bright little LED. So we can plug that into our larger battery bank there, and then it'll operate just like it does, you know, with the other battery bank on it. But what's cool about that is that we could take it, and I'm going to turn it off here so that it doesn't blind you, but we can take it and we could mount it up top of a camera, for example, just like that, with some sticky tape. We could hook the battery bank onto the tripod. Of course, if you're using a larger tripod, tons of uses that come to mind for this little light. You could not only put some sticky tape on it, you could also strap it to something, zip tie it to something. You could also put a magnet on it and give it a magnetic surface so that you could use it on a barbecue grill, for example, or you could use it, you know, just anywhere. In a power outage, you could stick it to the side of the refrigerator and give yourself tons of power, depending on how much juice you have in your battery banks. So as long as you can hook up a USB battery bank to it, you've got this sweet little LED that you can use in tight spaces. So maybe you're working on the car, for example, you know, this thing would come in very, very handy. All right, let's look at some night shots here. To turn the light on, you simply single click the button there. It's going to go into the multi light mode first, so both lights are on. With this mode, you have a max of 400 lumens and then a min of 100 lumens. So you don't have infinite brightness, meaning you can't adjust it in between. You just have the low, which is 100, and the high, which is 400. You can see at 400 lumens, you've got a ton of light. Definitely will have no problem keeping that light out in front of you if riding a bike or running, for example. Then if we want to switch to the flood or spot mode, we simply double click. So now we are on flood. The max here is 200 lumens. Single click to go down to the low. The low is 50 lumens. And then we can double click to go into our spot mode. The high here is 200 lumens and low is 50 lumens. So you have 400 and 100 on the mixed and 250 on both the spot and the flood. So if we go back up to the 200 here, you can see that is plenty of light as well. You could easily just leave it on the 200 and that would work well. Plenty of light to stay out in front of you, but it's nice that you got that 400 if you wanted it. So I am definitely not a runner, but one thing that you want to look for in a headlamp if you're going to be running or riding a bike, for example, is that the light stays out in front of you. If the light were just directly down here, you're not going to get any vision in front of you. So you want to be able to have a light that can shoot down the path or down the road that you're driving in. And in this case, on the high, we have it on the 400 lumens right now. It's doing a fine job of staying out in front of me. So we can keep it on the mixed mode, but turn it down to 200 lumens. Still got enough light in front of you and around you, and keep in mind, again, this is the mixed mode, so you're gonna get that light in front of you in your immediate area, but also down the street. Flood mode on high, which is at 200 lumens, still gives you plenty down the street coverage. I'm definitely riding about as fast as a runner would run, so you get plenty of light. All right, let's switch to the third mode here, the just the spot. You can see with this one, you're simply just getting it downrange. And unless you look down, you're really not getting any of that light right down around you. So I like the fact that you have the option of not only having it in that spot mode, but you can put it in the flood mode or even the mixed mode. Great feature. So as I mentioned several times in the video, this is a purpose-built headlamp. Really, the only purpose I can find for it is running or riding a bike, something that you're moving quickly where you can shoot that light down range. Works great for that. It is very comfortable, even though it's a little bit heavier than some of my other headlamps. I could see using it hiking. You do get that long battery life, which is nice, and I do like the fact that you can disconnect the light and hook it directly up to a power source. You could use that just as a lighting source on its own. So it is multifunctional. Is it going to replace my H1R? Definitely not. But is it a good headlamp for the money? Definitely so, if you find yourself needing these types of features. It's probably, no, it is the only headlamp that has the battery pack in the back that I actually like. A lot of them make you sort of off center. You can feel that weight in the back, unless you're wearing a climbing helmet or something like that. But this one is very comfortable. It's really lightweight, again, like I said. So, you know, you do get a lot of features, the different beam patterns that you can use with this light. So again, if these features appeal to you, then it may be worth checking out. I'm gonna put a link below to Amazon where you guys can purchase one if you choose to do so. Hope you guys enjoyed the video today. There's a plane flying by overhead, so hopefully they and you give me a big thumbs up today. Please leave me a comment below and share this video to your friends and family on your social media. And as always, click that red subscribe button and that notification bell. Be notified of future videos.